What's up, everybody? Today I'll be showing you how to do an oil change on a 2022 Honda Rebel 1100, the dual clutch transmission one. And I'll show you the parts that I got for it and what you'll need to get the job done, tools required and whatnot. So stay tuned and I'll show you all that. So for the oil, I just got whatever Honda recommended, which is GN4 100830 oil. These bikes are supposed to take about 4.4 quarts, so I got 5 quarts here. We've got the main oil filter, which is your part number 15410-MFJ-D02. And you're also going to need the transmission filter, which is a 15412 MGS-D21, which I found these on eBay. Got the oil on Amazon, and I got the filters on eBay because I was kind of struggling to get it on Amazon, but yep. All right, so step number 1, you're gonna wanna get these 2 bolts. Let's see, they're kind of hard to see, but a little drain plug, you've got one there. And then you've got one kind of tucked away up in here. Right there. Right there, now I got my finger on it. So those are your 2 drain plugs. Yeah, it's not focusing on it, but you got one there. Then you've got your other one right there. So you'll drain that. And then that's a 12mm socket to get to those. But you're gonna wanna use a 5mm Allen if it will focus. You're gonna get these guys. You've got one there, one there, one here, one there. And I believe that should be enough to get this plastic cover off, because underneath that is your transmission filter. I'll show a little time lapse of that going on, but those are the tools that you're gonna need. Probably a good recommendation is to have one of these, that's still in this package, but an oil filter remover and a little wrench, because you would think that it would be hand tight, because that's your main oil filter right there, that guy. You'd think it'd be hand tight, but you never know. Sometimes they really crank them on, so we'll see. Here we'll try to attempt to take the main oil filter off. Just a hand, we'll see if we can get it. We'll reinstall the new one. You want to make sure that you lube the O-ring on it so it's nice and easy to put back on. Let's go ahead and put that back on. Hand tight should all you need. You shouldn't have to crank it on. Not unless for whatever reason you have leaks, which you shouldn't, but hand tight should be good. Now we'll go ahead and remove the cover for the transmission filter by pulling these guys out. Just like that, the cover will come off and your filter will be behind this little guy. So we're gonna have to remove this cover as well to get clearance to it, or access I should say. So now we have access to the transmission filter housing. Okay, so you're gonna need an 8mm wrench or socket, whatever you want to use, to remove these bolts. I already pre-loosened them. Should be able to do it hand tight. Might need to use a wrench to get this one. It is spring loaded. It's, see, I don't know if the camera, yeah, it's picking up how this is kind of springing open on this side. There's a spring in there. So it's kind of making it fight me a little bit. I'm trying to pull this thing off. All right, so now the cover's off. Go ahead and pull out this spring. And we're just gonna use like a flathead just to get enough leverage on it to kind of pull it out. And there it comes. So you can kind of see it's a little bit dirty. This is the initial oil change on the bike. So this is at 600 miles. What it looks like. The new one is yellow. Let me go grab the new one. I'll show you what it looks like. This is what the new one's supposed to look like. Nice and yellow. So you can see the difference. And I guess 600 miles what it can do. But then what we're gonna do is we're gonna push that back in. Put the spring in, and then we'll just go ahead and put this cover back on. Would be much easier with a ratchet and a socket, but for whatever reason, I can't find my 8mm socket to put this thing back on. So that's why I'm using a ratcheting wrench, but nonetheless still works. It may take it just a little bit longer to put this back together, but I don't feel like running back to the auto parts store just to get a socket. But a little snug. You don't need it to be too tight, it'll be fine. Whoop. A little snug. You don't need it to be too tight, it'll be fine. Whoop. I miraculously found an 8mm socket. Little ratcheting screwdriver, so that works too. Okay, so we get that nice and tight. Go ahead and do this one nice and tight. All right. And then we'll go ahead and put our cover on. Just like so. All right, so now we'll go ahead and put our drain plug back in. We're pretty good on draining. We'll go ahead and move this guy out of the way, just so I don't drop a bolt in there. All right, we have them finger tight. We're just gonna do the old German torque on them where they're gluten tight. All right, they're on there good. And now, gotta add some oil. So from most videos and things that I've read about this, is these engines take somewhere about 4.4 quarts of oil. So that's why I got 5 quarts. And what we'll do is this is our drain plug, or not drain plug, it's our measuring stick, I should say. And that's how we'll see how much oil we got in her. We'll just go ahead and wipe it down. So that's basically how you do the oil change on the Rebel 1100. It's not that bad. Make sure you have all the right parts. I'll put the part numbers and everything that you need down below, and just make sure you have the right tools, drain pan or whatnot. But other than that, that's how you do it.